As I mentioned at the beginning of our Mass, when someone is about to leave this world, he or she makes a will. And that is what we have heard. Jesus telling his disciples, always do what I have done to you. We know what is happening in the world these days, my dear brothers and sisters. Recently, I was watching TV. There was an interview with some of the medical practitioners who contracted coronavirus. One was asked how she feels about the situation. She said that she took an oath to save people's lives. So she was grateful for the tremendous work she did. These types of hero stories bring tears to our eyes, and not just because of the way they end, but because they highlight a fact that is often forgotten in the midst of catastrophe. That is, someone whose life is worthy more than mine. Someone whose life is worthy more than mine. And that is what we have heard in the gospel. Jesus is gonna lay his life for us because of his love for us. That is why these days we see people, especially medical practitioners, laying down their lives for us. That is what we have to do. This past January, I was in Uganda. I had hours and hours of confession. The line was enormous and seemed like it would never end. What a sight. Who said that people no longer go for confession? I hear people saying, oh, Father, these days people don't go for confession. Must be those who never go. But people are still going for confession. But why do we go? Why are we willing to wait in line for hours and hours? Because we know the Lord is eager to forgive and is generous in his forgiveness. Yes, Christ wants to forgive us. He has made it painful, obvious. He wants to forgive us. But why? What does that mean, my dear brothers and sisters who are listening? In my opinion, it can only mean one thing. He has great hope in us, in humanity. He sees great things that are not possible with us in him. Why does the Lord wash his disciples' feet? Why? Because he knows that we are worthy, and it is much more than we think. We tend to make a lot of noise about nothing. We make something out of nothing all the time. But when God makes something out of nothing, it is always something incredible. Why? Because it is done with love and humility. That is what we have heard in the gospel. He washed his disciples' feet, and he did it with love and humility. And soon is going to die for you and me because of love. Who among you can die for his child? No one. Who among you can die for your spouse? But Jesus died for you, and he knew the hour has come. Our goal on earth is to be a professional Christian. In other words, to say and to do what must be said and done, regardless of how we feel and how our world is turning upside down. Jesus was the ultimate professional. He was calm before the horrific storm. He never allowed the high-strung emotions of others to overwhelm him. This is where we are right now. We listen to a lot of things these days, but my dear brother and sister, do not allow to be taken by such storms. Remain calm and pray. Let us all be imitators of Christ. Not once did he allow the circumstances around him to overpower him. He did not even allow his critics to take away his final meal with his men. All was according to his plans. For on the night he was betrayed, he gave his final sermon on love and gave his men a new commandment. Love one another as I have loved you. He continued to stay with his own, serving them by washing their feet and knowing they would soon flee from him. Which means he continued even loving his enemy, Judas, because he knew. That is what we are encouraged to do. Always to love our enemies. Always to love without distinction. Without choosing whom to love. The Lord was a professional. He could see well beyond the given moments. He knew this moment that it was going to be painful. But he knew it is not going to last for long. Let us all pray during this time, having hope that whatever we are going through in Jesus' name is not going to last for long, so long as we continue attaching ourselves to Jesus, whom we imitate every day.